This woman faced hell on earth. She met problems that no one else could endure. Meet Salama, a 50 years old, who refused to marry a man because of a child that she adopted. She adopted this child when she was only 5 days, and today she is 17 years old. She was worried about how they would live in poverty if she got other children, and she thought maybe no man would accept to live with her and a child who was not hers. She was rejected by her family because of her kind heart to adopt a child that was not her own. Where the difficulties and problems did not stop, the adopted child was impregnated at the age of 15. I took this child and brought him up in a difficult life. I chose to stop looking for a man because I saw that if I married a man and gave birth, I would not be able to see how to raise them all. And poverty, having nothing, I also thought that the man we might marry could reject this child, and it was God who had given her to me. It all began in 2006 when Salama and her sister were doing their usual job of selling charcoal. One day, a man carrying a baby approached them to purchase charcoal. He requested them to watch over his baby for a short time because he said he needed to buy something else quickly. They agreed to look after the baby. However, the man left and never returned. My name is Mukamana Salama. An unknown man came with the baby and told my elder sister to give him coal, and he asked her to look after the child for a short moment because the man said he wanted to buy milk first. And then he came back when the man left. He didn't come back. My older sister took that child, and the child spent a night with her. In the morning, they returned together to a workplace. I woke up and went there as usual, but to my surprise, I found a child lying on the ground where my sister had placed her. There were many kittens gathered around her. That's when I decided to pick up a baby and carry her on my back. In the evening, when it was time to finish work, I told my sister, "Take your baby." She replied, saying that the baby wasn't hers. She suggested that I either leave the baby behind or I go raise her myself. As I looked at the child, I realized she needed care and love, and I couldn't just leave her behind. So, I made the decision to raise her as my own. This was the beginning of a new chapter in her life, filled with challenges. It is not something that anyone can do. The child is not yours. Others rejected her, ever her parents, but you agree to take her as yours. You are poor and helpless, but you ignore them all. Salama could have ignored this child and become like her older sister, but she did act that way. She did everything possible to be a full mother to this child. I took the baby and raised her in a difficult life, but I did everything possible for my baby to survive because I even registered her in my documents as my own so that she could be protected, and at least when the time comes, she could be able to go to school. This unexpected responsibility changed her. A child whom she named Shadia grew up knowing her as her loving mother. This decision to adopt this child as her own took a lot of consequences and left wounds in her life because her whole family rejected her because of this child, most of all because of the concern for this child's health. Salama refused to marry a man because she thought it would be a problem to raise her with other children in poverty, and she thought that it would be a problem for a man because of this child. I decided to not marry a man because I saw that if I got married and had children, I would not be able to raise them all while I am poor and have nothing. I didn't even believe that the man we were going to marry would love this child. And my entire family rejected me because of this child. Sometimes, they would come to our house and mistreat us, even resorting to physical violence. There was one instance when I wasn't at home for days because I had gone to work, and I later heard that my family members had forcibly sent the child away to search for his biological parents. They did all this so that I will not die and get a share in the family property, and even now it is not over yet. We are still facing these problems. All this could not Salama to stay away from this child. It was necessary to leave a job and come back home. Because of these abuses and persecution, Salama met very serious consequences. That time her child was kicked out of the house. She got pregnant at the age of 15 by her 16-year-old friend. Now, life was about to add more problems. What was raising a child turned into raising a child and a grandchild. That's when I had to quit my job. My family at that time beat me and told me to take the child out of there. And I realized that when my daughter was kicked out, she went away and got pregnant with another child. That's when I started a hard fight to raise both my daughter and her child.
This family I found myself in is tough. Otherwise, in other families, children know their story only if their parents tell them about it. But here it is very bad, because they have treated me very badly since I was young. They always say bad words to me like leaving and go to find my father. And they always kicked me out, as once I spent many days out, and it's my mother who brought me back. All this makes me sad, and maybe that's what made me have a baby at my young age. It hurts me so much that there was a time when I wanted to end my own life.
This brave woman continued to live a difficult life with her daughter, who was rejected by the family and was only bullied. And this did not stop even today. They continue to live hard because of this rejection by the family. The thing that hurts and discourages me is how my family hates my child, and they say that she must leave here and go away. I refused to marry a man because I was afraid that I would marry a man who would not like this child, or that I would have other children and my life would end without being able to raise them. I am now in my 50s, but I have no intention of marrying but raising these children. Everyone abandoned her because of her brave heart. In fact, because she is getting old, she is not able to do what is possible for these children, who today are 2. She does not have a job to support them because her job is to sell empty water bottles that have been dumped in different places. Collecting and selling them is the only way she uses to take care of her daughter and grandchild. She asks everyone who can support and help her raise these children to give any help so that these children can continue to live. She fought for it since day one. I continued to take care of her, and I managed to bring her back to school even though I hadn't found the other equipment she needed for school. But I believe that God will make a way. It's not easy at all because I have so many financial troubles, so we only eat when I collect empty water bottles and sell them, but it's like doing nothing because it brings no money. One thing I would like to ask people with a good heart to help me is how I can find the ability to raise these children, because it is very difficult now that there are 2 of them. If I could get a business that I could do, I can work and be able to raise them.
I am the reason her family treats her badly, because she brought me here. They are afraid that I will take a share of their property. For me, the only thing I would ask for is help to get out of here and go away from this family, because we are living in a bad situation. I am now in high school, secondary 3, because after giving birth I went back to school. I have a dream that when I finish my studies, I will help my mother and thank her for the kindness she gave me, and I will start a project to take care of children abandoned by their families.
Salama is a brave, kind, and unique woman who tried to do what most people can't do. She could have been like her elder and left this child, but she didn't. She agreed to sacrifice the happiness of marrying a man. She accepted to be rejected by her family because she agreed to accept a child that was not hers and protect and raise her. Her daughter also faced a bad life of bullying and mistreatment, which led her to give birth at a young age, with the dream of studying and finishing her education and helping her mother who chose her when her parents abandoned her. You and I can be involved in helping them through givinglife.com by clicking on the link in the description, and it's always pinned in the top comments. I'm Susan Bennett and this is Afrimax English. Please remember to subscribe and turn on the notifications.